guys, it's Sid with SVTperformance.com, and I am standing in front of the SVTperformance.com booth at the 2019 Ponies in the Smoky Show in Sevierville, Tennessee. This is the third annual version of this show, and I just wanted to take you guys on a quick walk around of the interior setup they have set up here in the convention center. So I'm going to take you off the tripod and we'll get started. First things first, let's start with this super clean, and I do mean super clean 96 Cobra with a twin turbo setup, poly EFI system running LS1 coils, it looks like, and it is painted in yellow blaze. And if you guys remember, our 2012 Mustang GT project car was in yellow blaze, and like I said, this is the SVTperformance.com booth, selling a few different shirts, things like that. Selling stuff at these shows helps us support the site, keep the site up and running, pay for these videos and things, and plus it helps us support the show supports us, and the world goes round and round. And you might know the MGW Scudo wallets. George and the crew are here with a bunch of their different wallets, and you can see you get a ton of different logos, and there's always got to be one guy at the show. Always has to be one. But this is the SVT/FPV display. So what we try to do is get one of every year, sometimes more than one, SVT and Ford performance vehicles. So you can see we got 93 Cobra. Now last year we tried to get cars that were as stock as possible, close to the original factory, so people could sort of see what they look like coming out of the off the assembly line. But this year we decided we wanted to get them modified because, you know, it's SVT performance and we want to see a little bit more performance out of these cars. So you're going to see a lot more modifications in the SVT/FPV display. 97, we got 2001 Cobra with a blower. It's a really nice setup. This thing is really clean under the hood. They're not parked in any particular order, but we've got a GT500 with a huge Kenny Bale. So one of the interesting things that the Ponies in the Smoky Show does is, you know, it runs 2 days. The actual car show part of it runs 2 days. We have Friday is the judged portion of the car show, and all the cars will have their hoods down. And then on Saturday, everybody is supposed to have their hoods up, but Mr. True Blue Lightning must not have gotten the memo. This thing is actually for sale. I'll do a quick pan of the phone number, so if anybody wants it, give the guy a call. 108,000 miles. It's good driver quality. That's the way I would put it. If you're looking for a Lightning round in, might want to give him a call. You got a Terminator with Whipple, polished Whipple. Good looking car out of Asheville, North Carolina. Got a slammed Gen 1 on Gen 2 wheels. It's a good looking truck. And of course we got GT350R, another GT500. So we're sort of starting to leave the SVT display, but we're going to go around this way and we'll come back into it. And we got another GT500 with a factory blower and another GT350. I'm starting to warm up to these cars more. I wasn't crazy about the GT350 when it first came out, but after driving the 2019 Bullet a couple weeks ago, I'm warming up to them a bit more. So this is National Parts Depot's display, and what they're calling this is the snake pit. As you see, they are surrounded by Cobras, or you got a GT350 in here, but have to have at least one classic, but different year Cobras. We'll swing back around to the rest of the SVT/SPV display. I always liked this Holley intake on these pushrod motors. I thought it was one of the better looking intakes you could get for them. But swinging back around here, we've got another GT500, this one with a lot of custom bodywork and whatnot on it, paint, fancy red wheels, and another GT350R. Really like this one. Swinging back around, we got a GT500 with a big blue Smurfy Whipple on it. Look at that thing. So much blue, so much Whipple. Another GT500. Followed by a blown GT350 with a Pro Charger. So I think if I was going to get one of these cars, I'd want to find one with a blown motor or something, because I'm still not crazy about the 5.2 flat plane crank engine, but I like the rest of the car. I really like the suspension. And I have an engine that would be very nice in that car. Another GT500 stock blower, and a Terminator that looks surprisingly stock, except it appears to have a different air filter, so it looks surprisingly stock under hood, but let me pull away and you'll see that it's not exactly stock. It is a Celine Terminator. You don't see tons of those around. So cruising on around this way. Roush has a fairly large showing this year. So one of the things that the pits guys do that's a little bit different than a lot of shows is they change things up every year, so it's not the same thing every year. A lot of car shows get stale after a while because it's the same car set up the same way. Last couple years, so this is the third annual version of the show, they've had Celine over here, but this year they have Roush. So we've got a large Roush showing. Well, we've got some Celines on the inside, but Roush is all along the outside here. You'll see those in a few minutes. This is kind of an interesting display. They've got a bunch of SSP cars. And if you like the SSP, which is police issue Mustangs, supposedly in 2020, they'll have a huge gathering of these cars. And of course, what are they all surrounding? An IROC Z. Nice way to do the display. But how would you have liked to have been the cop that got that set up back in the early 90s? Georgia had a ton of these cars. You'll see a lot of these are from Georgia. South Carolina State Trooper car. I've been pulled over by one of these. That was not a fun experience. But that's the SSP cars. Got a lot of other unique cars over this way. I'll take you for a quick run through them. Really glad the hood's up because I want to take a closer look at this Bronco too. I thought these were neat. Painted in the Gulf livery. The blue's not quite the Gulf blue that we're used to on the GT40s and Ford GT and everything. I think it looks pretty good. I'm guessing it's going to get a big set of drag wheels to match the one beside it here. I have a Terlingua. That is blown with a 3-valve. You don't see a lot of these intake manifolds from Ford Racing. But honestly, you don't really see all that many 3-valves anymore. Everybody seems to be coyote swapping them, which makes a lot of sense. So much performance for the dollar by doing that swap. Have a super stock down to the airbox with the factory markings on it. 1,300 mile 93 GT. So if you want to see a time capsule, this is it. It Still has the wax bloom on the intake elbow here. But for you Fox body fans, this is basically what it looked like when it rolled off the showroom floor. This thing is beyond clean. And then next to it, we have a yellow Convertible Gt. Going on down, more Foxes. And of course, another beautiful teal Cobra. I still think that's the best color on these cars because it's so unique. Didn't really see it on any other Mustangs. And we have a Celine 93. Don't see a whole lot of early Celines. So it's cool to come out to the show and see something like that. I've been wanting to see a little bit more of this Bronco too, because when's the last time you went to a Mustang show and saw a Bronco 2, especially one that has a 5-liter swap in it. A very clean swap too with that. These things originally came with like a 2.9 liter Cologne V6. You might know those because they came from Cologne, Germany, and eventually they got punched out to the 4-liter V6 that was in the Ranger and Explorer. It was produced by the Millions. It ended up getting modified and put into the Mustang in 2005 as a single overhead cam with the most god-awful timing chain setup of anything I have ever seen. You guys think a 427 single overhead cam big block has a weird timing chain setup with its 9-foot long timing chain? That 4-liter does. And here we've got a nice Coyote swapped Pro Charged Fox. Looks really good. Yeah, I like this car. So the timing chain setup on that 4-liter single overhead cam, they used basically the same block that was in the pushrod engine and put a jack shaft in place of the camshaft in the center of the block. Ran a gear off the front of the jack shaft and a gear off the back, so it had timing chains on the front and the back. And I've seen guys change those timing chains in the car, and it's stupid, or in the truck, and it's just dumb. Well, if you have a guide go on one of those things and you have a Ranger or a Mustang with one, just pull it out and either put in a remand long block from Ford, or better yet, swap in something else. If you got a V6 Mustang with one of those things that's worn out, put in a Coyote. If you've got a Ranger, put your 5-liter pushrod motor in it. They're all over junkyards out of Explorers. That'd be a way better solution. So one of the other great things that Ponies does, or Ponies in the Smokies, Pits, whatever you want to call it, is they do one of every year Mustang. So let's go walk that line. We got start off with 64.5. And have one of every year. GT350 for the 66, so that's super nice. We got 67 in beautiful green. And another great thing is they change these cars up every year, so it's not always the same one. So every year you come back, these things are going to be different. It's another great thing. It just makes the show unique and different every year. I predict that these early 70s Mustangs are going to get more popular in the next couple of years. They haven't been very well loved, mostly because they were considered like the huge Mustangs. But if you ever see one of these things parked next to an S550, they're really not that big, man. The S550 is huge compared to one of these. And you can still pick up these cars for a pretty good price considering, you know, the classic status. And then we start to get into 74 with the Mustang 2s. 75. Believe it or not, there are a few people that these are their favorites. My friend John Clore at Ford Performance, he still loves these things. I can't say that I have ever warmed up to them, but thankfully, these were not the end of Mustang. Then we got Fox bodies. And this is probably my favorite front end on a Fox. Of course, that's not a 79, but it looks really, really nice. And get over to the 80s. There we go, 82 front end. That's by far my favorite Fox body front end. I don't know why, it just is. I like the four-eyed look with that particular grill. And those things are getting really, really hard to find, not cracked and everything. And we've got a SVO. The first turbo four-cylinder Mustang. 2015 wasn't first, SVO did it first. I know a lot of people love the 85s. Last year for the 4-barrel carburetor. And then 86, they all went fuel injected. 87, we started to get the aero front end, a little bit more. 88 racecraft Mustang. Surprised somebody hasn't re-popped these wheels in like a 20 yet. 90s. Looks like another one of those Holly intakes that's smooth. And of course with a blower on it. 92 model. And you can see this one's a little bit special. It's an SCCA edition. And we start to get into SM95. I was hoping they would have an SM95, 95 Cobra R. Unfortunately, there's not one. And then you get out of the push rods and get into the GTs. 96 though, it was a 2-valve 4.6 modular. And we suffered along with those for a few years. All the way up to 98. And in 99, we got PI 2 valves. Or you can get a Cobra from McBee, South Carolina. And it looks like they're tuned by our friends at Prodado. That's cool. We got a 2000 Mustang here with Terminator swap. So that's pretty cool. Another GT with the Terminator front end. Everybody loves some Terminator parts, whether they have a Terminator or not. Got a yellow sling with swing blower. And Terminator with Whipple. And somebody is a Batman fan. Paul Dini would be proud. And if you get that reference, tell me what it is in the comments. I'm surprised at the price you can still pick up a Mach 1 for. I think these cars are going to be much more valuable in the future. And you can get a decent price right now. And this one, Terminator mirrors. That's a very, very nice upgrade on this. I'm going to swing back around here and show you some of the vendors. Sling set up. And we have Team Mustang girls over here. That's Courtney's Mustang. You see Courtney over here talking around. And she suckered somebody into putting the Bronco in her booth. And swing back around, we have into the S197 era. Remember what I said about 3 valves? People don't show them off like they used to. But they're still out there. Rare color for a GT500. And one of my favorite colors on these cars as well. More S197s. We are on the back side of the SVTP booth right there. Celine F-150, you don't see a ton of those. Back over to the Mustangs, we got a 2010, 2011, so now we're getting into the Coyote era, and I almost feel bad for the 2010 guys. At least this one's just a V6. If you'd bought the GT and then that one came out the next year, you'd be a little disappointed. And then another one of my favorite Mustangs is a Boss 302. I've never owned one. I've been around tons of them though. And I think it's sort of on my Mustang bucket list. I'll probably end up with a Boss 302 before it's all over with. GT500, and check out the Kenny Bell on this thing. Massive. We got a Boss intake on a GT with a GT500 front end. And another big Whipple on 2015. You guys might think this is familiar because we had a Whipple set up like this on our 2015 GT project car. Of course, ours, we had the Whipple color match to the yellow on the car, triple yellow. I got a 16 and 17. 18 with the new front end, of course, from 17 to 18. And we're going to finish it off with a 2019 Bullet. So you guys are definitely familiar with those by now. And a few more vendors down this way. Out of focus. Let me focus you. There we go. Back in focus. Croftgate. They've been polishing cars all weekend. So the main parking lot is still filling in. I like that truck. I want to come take a closer look at that. And it is ridiculously loud out here next to this speaker. But as you can see, filling in outside here, it is still about, it might be 9 o'clock in the morning. It is early. It was 32 this morning when we got in the truck to come out here. So it's filling in. This whole parking lot will be full, and then it continues on around the building over here, and we'll show you more of that later in probably a different video, because I have a 2019 F-150 with the 3-liter Power Stroke diesel that we're going to be visiting VMP Performance's mobile dyno, and we're going to dyno that thing and see what that little Power Stroke actually puts out. Yeah, I'm a sucker for trucks. I like this one. But that's about all I'm going to show you, because I do not have time to walk all of this. I suggest if you want to see all these cars, come out to Ponies in the Smokies 2020. All right, I'll show you one last car. Great looking competition orange Terminator in the red line tuning hood strut booth. You know, you guys have seen us install these on cars over the years. Good looking Terminator. But that is basically it. This is me from the Ponies in the Smoky Show, 2019 edition in Sevierville, Tennessee, saying go to svtperformance.com. Check out all the latest news, reviews, and information on your favorite Fords and Ford performance related vehicles. Peace.